Hi everyone, and welcome to day 3 of the Innate Motion Empathy Finish Challenge. I'm Megan, a cultural decoder at Innate Motion, and today we're going to talk about the art of listening. So, have you ever been in a conversation and you literally just see the person you're talking to disconnect? It's like they're thinking about something else, or maybe they're even planning their response to you instead of listening to what you're saying? Well, I'm pretty sure everybody can say yes to that, and chances are you've been on the other side as well, being the one who went somewhere else while you were talking to somebody, because it's something we all do. The fact is that listening is something we have to practice, and empathetic listening is really an important part of our empathy journey. Learning how to be an empathetic listener actually helps us to boost our own emotional intelligence, and of course it helps the person we're talking to feel heard and understood during our conversation. So let's take a look at some of the pitfalls of listening so that we can see what empathetic listening is not. Number 1. Offering solutions. So maybe someone is confiding in you about something difficult, but unless they ask you for your advice in this moment, your role is just to hear them out. Number 2, sharing a similar situation that happened to you. Now, there may be a time and place for this, and maybe even during this conversation, but it's not in the middle of someone else sharing their own experience. Don't make it about you. Number 3, judging or criticizing them. This one can be hard, especially if you're talking about something where you just don't agree with them. It's easy to slip into this mode of judging or planning what you're going to say next. Don't. Just try to understand where they're coming from. Number 4, daydreaming and thinking of something else. Now's not the moment to plan your grocery list or to think about what you have to do after work. Just take the time to be there and be present. Number 5, and this should go without saying, but, just a second. Just kidding. Don't check your phone, please. Be present. Don't be digitally with somebody else. Keep your attention focused on them. Now that we've gone through the pitfalls, let's look at 5 tips for empathetic listening. So the first one is listen attentively. Don't get lost in your own thoughts or distractions in your area. Just pay attention and focus on the person you're talking to and what they're saying. Number 2, listen with your eyes and your ears. So of course, listening with your ears. I mean, we all know that. That's our first thought when we think about listening. But we also need to listen with our eyes, because people make so many gestures, facial expressions that really clue us into what it is that they're thinking and feeling. And sometimes their gestures don't match up with what they're saying. For example, how are you? I'm fine. Clearly, they're not. So these are the kinds of cues that you need to be paying attention to during the conversation. Number 3, active listening. Be supportive and understanding. Show them that you're hearing them with little reactions that reflect their state of mind. If they share good news with you, just say something like, wow, that sounds incredible. Or if it's something more difficult, wow, that must have been really hard. Just show them that you're listening by echoing back some of their thoughts and by even just nodding or smiling. But don't just smile and nod. React appropriately to the topic. Number 4, listen with your heart. Try to imagine how you'd feel if you were in their situation. Don't get too lost in your thoughts here, but by taking a second to consider this, it can help you to better connect with them on an emotional level. Number 5, listen with curiosity. Ask them questions as they go and allow them to expand on their story and their experience by saying things like, wow, tell me more about that, or what was that like for you? By encouraging them to keep going and maybe even get to a deeper layer, you're going to better understand where they're coming from. It's really important to note that empathetic listening isn't only for difficult circumstances. Sharing in someone else's joy is also a really important aspect of empathy. So for your empathy task today, try to practice empathetic listening as much as you can, but pick at least 1 or 2 conversations where you really give it a solid go. If you don't feel like your spontaneous conversations are getting you there, try to strike one up. You can check out the list of pitfalls and tips we just shared in the description below. And lastly, remember that when we share our experiences, we all get to learn from each other. So come back later and let us know in the comments which of the empathetic listening actions you took today, which ones you caught yourself doing and stopped, and how did it change your experience talking to the person. Have fun, and see you tomorrow for day 4 of the Innate Motion Empathy Fitness Challenge.